Algebra 2 class. Good to see you guys. I was getting a little bit of exercise in before our next lesson. You know, when I'm running for exercise, there's times where I just want to give up. But I got to keep on going, because if you don't go through the pain, you don't get the gains. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm back, Mr. Thomas, right here for our last lesson on chapter 8. All right? We are so close to the finish line for Algebra 2. You just got to keep persevering. So, today's lesson is relatively short, but it can be kind of tricky. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you'll feel confident to head on into the MathXL assignment and complete the work. So, solving rational equations. The objective is to solve rational equations. Then we're going to use rational equations to solve problems. We're mainly going to focus on this first part, solving rational equations. So, I know, I told you there's a lot. Just stay with me. So if we have this expression right here, the difference between an expression and an equation is right here, this is an expression. But when you add an equal sign, it now becomes an equation. And when we talk about solving equations, what we're looking for is we're looking to get the x all by itself, to find out the value of x. So, the first step, all right, this is step number 1. Step number 1 is to factor the denominators. So right here, the left part, and I'll try to color code these. The left part of our equation, the denominators, or the bottom parts, they're already factored for us, so we don't need to do anything with that. But notice the right side of our equation needs to be factored, and so they just factored out x squared minus 9 and becomes x minus 3, x plus 3. The reason why we want to factor the denominators is because we've got to find the least common denominator, LCD, so we can eliminate the denominators. And so that takes us to our next step, which is multiply both parts of the equation by the LCD, or the least common denominator, to eliminate denominators. So x minus 3, x plus 3 on the left side, x minus 3, x plus 3 on the right side. We're basically just going to multiply both sides of the equation by whatever's underneath the fractions, whatever the denominator. So on the left side of my equation, all right, I'm going to multiply it by x minus 3, x plus 3. When I do that, this bottom part goes away, and then basically I'm just doing distributive property. And so when I do distributive property on this, I'm going to get, that's x squared. This is negative 3x, right there. Then I have x squared, 3x. Then, go to my green. On the right side of my equation, I'm doing the same thing, multiplying by this. That's going to eliminate. The bottom part can eliminate. And so then, oh, that eliminates too. Sorry about that. And so then, we're just left with 2. Right there. All right, and now from here, we're going to simplify and solve. Let me find a different color. I'll go with blue. All right, our next step is simplify and solve. And so we're just combining like terms. So notice right here, we have an x squared and an x squared. That becomes 2x squared. The positive 3x and negative 3x eliminate. So I'm left with 2x squared equals 2. I divide 2 from each side. That gives me x squared equals 1. And then remember, to get rid of a square, we're going to square root this. And so that's where they get the plus or minus, because we could say 1 times 1 equals 1, or negative 1 times negative 1 equals 1. And so our answer is x equals plus or minus 1. Now, the last step is optional. You don't have to do it. You can go through and check your answer. And all they did is they took the positive 1 and plugged it in wherever they saw an x on the original equation, okay? And then they just want those to match up. So 1 minus 3 is 2, and so you have negative 1/2 here, and then 1 plus 3 is 4, so you have 1/4 here. Negative 1/2 plus 1/4 becomes negative 1/4, and then over here, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 minus 9 is negative 8, and then 2 over negative 8 is negative 1/4, so that matches up, and then they did the same thing over here. That's optional. You can check your answer by just typing it into MathXL. Alright, so you're going to make sure the denominators are factored. You're going to multiply by the denominators, or the LCD, and then you're going to simplify and solve. So, let's look at an example. It's going to be a little tricky. So, step number 1, we said is factor the denominators. Alright, but look, my denominators are already factored, so I actually don't have to do anything for that step. Then my next step was multiply by the least common denominator, LCD. So that's what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to multiply this side by x plus 2. I'm going to multiply this side by x plus 2. Kind of running out of room. Over here, that eliminates. And so this part of my equation is just going to drop. X squared plus 2x minus 3. And then over here, that will eliminate from there. And I'm going to get x squared plus 2x minus x minus 2. Alright, that would simplify to x squared plus x minus 2. You can simplify it before or after. I'm just going to leave it there for now. And then I'm going to combine like terms, and that's when we're trying to get rid of some of the stuff. So, I like to kind of move my x's to the other side. And so I'm just going to subtract x squared from each side. That eliminates there, that eliminates there. I'm going to go, when I drop these, I'm going to combine these terms. So 2x minus x just becomes x minus 2 equals 2x minus 3. Then, I'm going to just keep the process going. I've got negative 2x. I'm going to subtract that. I'm kind of going the long way about this, but that gives me negative x minus 2 equals negative 3. And then I'm running out of room, but I can, I'm going to go and just move this number over here, by adding 2 to each side. That gives me negative x equals negative 1. And when I'm left with this negative in front of the x, I know I'm just going to multiply or divide by negative 1, and so basically I just switch the symbol. And so my answer is x equals what? Right? That's what I would do to simplify and solve. Now I could go back through and check, or I could just type that in and it will tell me if I'm correct or not. But that is how you do it. The main, oh my bad, I forgot to add that third step. Simplify and solve. So, those are the steps. I know it sounds like a lot, it seems like a lot, it may be a little tricky, but just follow these steps, factor the denominators, multiply by the least common denominators to eliminate the denominators, and then simplify and solve. You should be able to do this. If not, look, message myself or Ms. Collette, we are here to help you. That is it for this lesson. Questions are 6 in number. Good luck, and we will see you next time.